Right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. My name is Martin Bannon. I'm the lead technical specialist at Truck Science. Today, we'll cover the basics of using our axle weight calculator to configure safe, legal, and efficient vehicles. In this webinar, we will show you how to configure a chassis with a body and some equipment. We'll demonstrate how the software calculates axle masses and maximum payload, whilst remaining within state and federal regulations. And towards the end, Tony will share the details of our Australia Day 2025 promotion. Okay, so I'll hand over to Tony now for the live demo. So over to you, Tony.
Hi, everyone. Some people would know me from my normal day-to-day job as engineering signatory. That's obviously where the tie of this comes into it. So when you talk to us, you're talking to people who see the technical side of it from the software, and also the technical side of it from the actual vehicles themselves. So what we'll run through is everything that Martin's got there. We've got a bit of a variety of people here. We've got some different dealers. We've also got some bodybuilders and trailer manufacturers as well. So I'll try to cover what we can to find something there that appeals to everyone that we've got. If you need a one-on-one or you want to get some more information, then feel free to reach out and you'll have our details in the email. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen now. I'll run through a couple of scenarios. As Martin said, you can use the Q&A feature to pop up and ask any questions as we go. I'll just go over and share my screen and we'll follow through a couple of builds. So the screen that we're on now, this is the screen that the software will open up to. It's in the cloud, so updates, if there's any that go through, they're all get processed through the cloud. You don't have to worry about getting IT involved to get USB sticks or anything like that. So this is the page that opens up to here. What we'll do as our first example is I'll go and grab a Hino. So I'll go and put a body on the back of it, and then put a tailgate on it. So I'll laze the axle, and then we'll see how that build there turns out. So there's a couple of ways that we can go and get the vehicles. One is to actually follow logos through, or if we know the model, we can type the model up there. So in this case, I'll click on Hino. We know it's a 500 series that we want, 4x2, and then we'll just type in there 1828. So the model we want is this one just here. Okay, so that brings up the cab chassis. In the cab chassis, for a Hino, for example, on the spec sheet, they include 10 litres of fuel. So we add the remaining fuel to allow for a full tank. You can adjust that if you like, but we've got fuel and crew on top of the cab chassis weight. And that gives us a total tare weight of 5842. So what we can do is you build the truck in the software the same way you build it in real life. So we grab our vehicle, grab our body, any accessories, tailgates, fridges, and then our payload. So the next step after the cab chassis is we grab a body, grab a box fan in this case, box fan template, and it pops the body on the back of the truck. So if there's anything on there that you'd like to change, you can click on the blue items here, and you can type your own number in. So if you want that to be 6.8 meters, you can do that. Or you've also got these little book icons. If you ever see that, you can click on it, and that there will give you suggested measurements for weights. So in this case here, we'll go maximum, and that there will put us at 60% maximum for this particular vehicle. To make extending the chassis easy, you can click on the body and you go align chassis to rear of body. That extends the rear overhang to the rear. And now we can see that this particular vehicle, we've got our permissible weights here and the current weights, and then a summary of the vehicle's status, whether it's underweight, overweight. So in this case, we've got 6,500 kilos available on the front end, or permissible. Then we've got 9,000 for the rear axle here, and then a total of 15,500. So the next line down here, you'll see that the rear axle is in blue. So we've maxed it out in the rear axle, and we've got an unused capacity of 1,800 kilos in the front axle. So right now the truck is capable of 15.5. It's running 13.7 and about 88% utilisation. As we move that body around, we can just drag it on the screen. You'll see these numbers down the bottom there will update in real time. So in this particular case here, the truck could probably do it for lazy axle. So that's easy to do. You just click on the axle, the existing axle, click on the plus button up the side. You have a push or a tag. So in this case, we'll have a tag. There's another axle down the back. You'll see that under all our overhang measurements. And given that we've added that axle on, we just need to update the GDN. So whatever it is that you've consulted with your engineer about, in this case here, the truck will be 24 tonne. That there drops it down to the regulation limit of 23. And right now you'll see that our front axle becomes a limiting factor. The rear axle is 2,800 underweight, and overall we're running about 87%. So if we want to add a tailgate to this, we go through, there's a cab chassis, the body, next one here, tailgates. So I'll go and grab that, click on add equipment, grab a tailgate, and in this case, we'll just go and grab the NHVR 22, and you pop that on the back there. So it takes into account any accessories on the truck as well. So once we add the tailgate, that gets included in the rear overhang measurement. So you'll see here they were under our 3.7 and also under 60%. So what will happen is that if we're over any measurements or if we breach any regulations, then these green tick boxes here will turn red. So if I grab a body and then I push it so that we've got a rear overhang issue, then you'll see it gets across here. That saves you having to go fishing around looking for where the problem is. You just click on the button now, and in this case, we click on national. It says everything about this is okay except for a dimension. And then in the report, it also shows you exactly what it is to say the rear overhang is over. And so that there's a quick process of grabbing a 4x2, turning it into a 6x2, the body on, and a tailgate. So what we'll do in the next scenario, feel free to pop up if anyone's got any questions along the way. What we'll do in the next scenario is I'll grab a truck, I'll show the body that we've already got in the system, and for the bodybuilders, how it is you can import a DXF in there of your own bodies. When you do that, you can keep it in your own private library. You can share it amongst other people in your team or within the business, or you can also select to share it publicly. So what we'll do is you can save this vehicle here, that saves in the cloud, so no matter what computer you open up, only you will have access to it, but you can access it anywhere you plug into software. So in this case here, we'll go back to the start screen, hit the home button. I won't set this one. So the next example, we use an 8x4. So we'll go and go to DAF. Get a CF. 8x4, the TF is for twin stick. And we'll grab this one here, for example. So this here brings up the cab chassis. You'll see that there's a couple of different wheelbases, and the reason for that is we've got a technical wheelbase of an 8x4, which goes between the two axles. That's for calculating the weights. Then we've also got our regulation wheelbase, where it calculates from the first sphere to the center of the rear grip. So you can select in your preferences how you want those to display, but the regulations are in there for Australia, and we've also got state by state rules. So in this particular case here, we've got national and Victoria selected. So if I deselect the national and just leave it on Victoria, then you'll see the rear axle there goes up to 17 tonne. If you're near a border or the vehicle is going to transit, let's say Melbourne through New South Wales and then go up to Queensland, you can select the particular states, and what it will do is it will build the vehicle at the lowest common denominator to be legal in all the states that will transit. So the body that we'll pick to go on this truck here, we'll go in here, grab a body. This particular one is one that has been saved into the public library. We'll grab a water cart. So for the bodybuilders that are watching this, you can import either each individual component if you wanted to bring cannons in separate, or you'll be able to import the entire bodies. So, and once again, you can either have that for yourselves in your own private library, or you can choose to share it with the public. So you can drag that body with your mouse. You can click it and drag it, or in this case here, we'll just position it just by typing in the numbers. So this here gives our summary again. We've got tick boxes, everything's good, and we're also showing that the front axle is where our limitation is, that there's been utilised 100%. So if we were able to move this body around, possibly move it back a bit, then we could get a bit more payload on it. Now, given that we've got various brands in the software, we're not limited to just one. So if you're comparing trucks against each other, like this one here, we'll go and bring up a Japanese truck. To say going back to the start and redoing your drawing, what you can do is you can hit this little swap button up here. So you go swap vehicle. In this case here, I'll just pick the one to and grab that one there, for example. There's a nice Isuzu Twin steer. Comes up, says, do you want to change the name of it from DAF to Isuzu? You go, yes. And you can position that on the screen with your mouse, or in this case here, we'll type in the number and pops it in the right spot. So in this case, we had a fairly easy drawing to begin with, because the bodybuilder had gone to the effort to piece it all together. If we had a scenario like the Hino where we had a tailgate, maybe a fridge as well, then being able to swap the vehicle saves you having to go back to the start and redo all that. You just easily pull one out and then pop another one underneath it. So there's a couple of quick scenarios, a few various trucks, and also a few various bodies on there as well. Now, how are we going for questions there, Martin? Has anyone popped up with anything?
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, that's great there so far. There are no questions, so please make use of the Q&A feature. You'll find that on the toolbar, probably near the bottom of your screen. It might be in a different position for you. You can just click on Q&A and send through a question, and either we can answer it live, or we can chat to you. I see there's something coming through now. Can show me the report, how to send my customers. Okay, there's a question here. Can you show everybody the report, and maybe how to download that report, and what options you've got for the report?
Okay, good question. So what we've got is a PDF report. So you can click on it and either save it as a PDF, you can email it directly from the software, or you can also print it directly from the software as well. So this particular truck here, what we do is we click on this button here. It says View PDF Report. So we click on that button, and what you'll see is in this grey area here, the section you can see go up and down, that section there is what the report will look like. So what we can do is we can select any particular pages that we want to include in it. So in this particular example, we've got the side view with some fairly detailed information. You can do a side view with simplified information in it, or turning circles, and we've also got a top view. So the top view here for things like service bodies, or if you're loading maybe small excavator with a bobcat next to it, you can see it on the top view and not just the side view. You can position it left and right. And we go down a little bit further, we've got a turning circle, and we've got some weights and stuff there to say our fuel tanks, our body, where that weight is. So the body, for example, weighs 6,440. Of that, 1979 in the front, and 4,461 kilograms of that weight is on the rear axle. You go down a bit further. Now, this particular page here, if you see anything in the warning column, then that there will be a showstopper, that there will be a fundamental breach of a regulation or exceeding the limits of the vehicle. On the left-hand side are notes and things for information. So in here, if we had a rear overhang change, for example, we either extended it or shortened it, it would come up here and say rear overhang has been modified, and it will be an easy reference that if you start doing a build maybe 3 weeks ago, and then customer comes in and says, I want to go ahead, then little things like that get forgotten. But in the software, if you look in the notes, it will say it's a wheelbase change, something has changed from default, rear overhangs altered, so on and so forth. So you'll be able to allow for it both with the build and with the costings. So in our drawings, if we go right up to the very top of that report, not everyone wants to give out the detailed drawings. So what there's an option to do, if we go back to the drawing, there's this little button on the right. You've got detail level, whether it's detailed or simplified. So if we click on simplified, you'll see that it removes quite a few measurements to just the basic measurements. So we can add that to the report, or we can have that as the only drawing that we issue with the report. And behind the scenes, we can still access all the details ourselves. Right, we can also set the turning circle here. If you need to do that, change wheelbases. The turning circle is done by as per the Australian design rules, as per the outer edge of the tread. So if that particular vehicle had narrower or wider tyres, that they would also be allowed for with the turning circle.
Thanks, Tony. Tony, can you just go back to the PDF and show the download and print option? So if you want to email a PDF to your customer, you would choose the download option there and download that to your desktop and then attach it to an email when you send it to your customer.
Yeah. So if you want to print it or download it, when you print it, it uses the system's default printer. You can change that, but it doesn't make any changes that permanently change that printer. So just like a normal print command, just prints it. Download, you click on the button, and what will happen is it will pop up, and then you have, as Martin said, it will say save your file. You can name it as you like, in whatever directory as you like, and generally attach that either with your build or whoever it is that you internally store your files, or email it off to the customer as a PDF that they'll be able to open on their end. Here you can also do the customer's details. So you can say Joe Blogs, and you'll see their details will go into this section down the bottom there. So phone number 123156789. We'll type that in. Hit our apply changes. So what this does here is it gives you the option to sign it. So both yourself and the customer, that they're confirming what that build is. So that there will be on the first page. We've also got some terms there to say, obviously this is our best effort. You've done it based upon the information the customer's given and so forth. If you want to change that and add anything else, maybe you've got business rules or certain information that you would like to put in there, you can put additional notes in there. So I'll just put here, additional information, details, whatever that might be.
Yeah, that's great, Tony. Yeah. So we've got a few more questions coming through here now. So that's great. Keep those questions coming. I suppose the next question there, Tony, is could you adjust the gross vehicle mass to South Australian spec 15 tons? Maybe just point out where you can show the change the gross vehicle mass. You can even probably do it on that vehicle. We don't need to do it on a 4x2, but just to demonstrate the principle of changing that.
Yeah. So there's a few areas where you can change these things, and also where the system has the regulations inbuilt. So if you wanted to change the GVM of a truck, what you can do is click on the cabin, also that button there, go up into masses and axles, you go to the total column, and you can override that. So if there was a change that you've done to the vehicle for whatever reason that necessitates that, that's where you would change it. So in our scenario before with the Hino, when we added a lazy, then we went from 18 ton to 24. That's where we did it, just in there. And you can also modify the individual axle grips. In this case here, we've got no selected for road friendly because it's spring suspension. If it was airbag or road friendly, you would click on that button and then go yes. So where all these buttons come into play, we've got the regulatory compliance here and our particular state-by-state rules. So we've got national rules selected. We've got New South Wales an option there. We've got Victoria. So I've got that one down there. And we can also select for South Australia lower emissions, and same for Queensland. They've got different rulings, different weights for full electric vehicles and so on. So South Australia comes under the national rules just here. So if you were to have just national selected, that would cover for South Australia. So in this particular case, we've got 16.5 ton on the rear. If that was road friendly suspension in Victoria, that would be 17 ton, and the front would still be on 11. So the idea is to let the software use the regulations that are inbuilt to take charge of or take care of all the big stuff behind the scenes, and then let you focus on drawing the trucks up. And then this here will process all that, and then depending on the state or the regulations you've selected, this here will give you the limitations that you've got to go with that particular state.
Yes, thanks, Tony. Okay, maybe the next question here is relating to our library of vehicles. So you can already go to the home screen there. So the question is, can we have a look at the vehicles or the models that are available for Western Star, MAN, Dennis Eagle, and Hyundai? And I'll also just give you a bit of feedback or background here. So maybe just pick Western Star might be a good one there, Tony. So you'll see we have quite a few options there. So these vehicles are typically added on request. In some cases, we find the spec sheets on the manufacturer's website, and we actively manage the library and keep the vehicles up to date. In cases like maybe Western Star, which is very specialized, the spec of the vehicle may not be available on the website. You'll see even in this case, the chassis weights for the front and rear are not provided. So we do need either your assistance to provide us with that spec, or contact a product manager at, say, Western Star, who can provide us with that information. And maybe if you just go back to home there, Tony, I want to show the vehicle request feature. So you'll see if you don't find a vehicle that you're looking for, you can just click on request a vehicle and then specify make, model, and some details. Pop that through to us. That'll also send you an email to which you can reply with any spec sheets that you have, which you can then send to us, and we will then add that vehicle for you. So that's how our process works. And maybe let's just have a quick look at MAN there. To see what MAN models are in there. There should be a few of those. You'll see TGM, TGX, quite a few models there, but the list again may not be comprehensive. Dennis Eagle, we should have a couple of Dennis Eagles in there as well. Yeah, there a couple there. Those have been requested in the past. And then Hyundai. Hyundai, I'm pretty sure we've got quite a few. You'll see that we've probably even got, yeah, I think there might even be some alternative fuel options there. So especially when it comes to alternative fuels, maybe battery electric or hydrogen fuel cell, that information is not typically in the public domain. So we would need permission from the manufacturer to add that vehicle to our library. Okay, so hopefully that answers that question. Can we have these come back offline? Okay, can we quickly view these, or happy to have answer? Yeah, that's fine. I think hopefully I've answered that question. But again, yeah, just request a vehicle if you don't find it. So let me just do that. Then the next question is, can you show me how to share a drawing with my manager or colleague for approval before emailing to a customer? I think Tony has already covered that. on the PDF, there's that option where you can sign off. So Tony actually pointed that out. I think we don't need to go back to that. But at the bottom, you've got the prepared by and the prepared for, and there's an option to sign that PDF report. Okay, then I'll just set that to done. Okay, can we include the companies? Or let me just go to the top here. Could you please show an example of a truck build where we have a combination tipper and storage boxes that sit across full width of chassis? Maybe that's a nice one, Tony. We still have a few minutes. You can just open any chassis and just put on maybe a template dump body and just use the other equipment to show some toolboxes or any other equipment and show that across the width of the chassis. You can probably do that in the top view. Yeah, so storage boxes that sit, full width, either on top of the chassis. Yeah, in this case, say on top of the chassis, you can use other equipment there, what Tony's doing. You can then specify the width. You can have a look at that in the top view. So we've given it a default width, but you can give that a width across the full chassis. Okay, great. I think that should answer that. And then let's have a look here. We've got another one. Can we include company's logo or name and still have access to, can we include the company logo or name? I think you've already shown that. If you go to the settings and reports again, you can see that you can upload your logo there. Tony pointed that out. There's an upload option. Just crop the white space away from the edge of the logo and add that. Can you travel to a customer site or location and still have access to the drawing on your laptop? And maybe I'll also just explain that from a technical perspective in terms of the software's online and offline capability. So the software it requires an internet connection. There is some caching of data to speed up the use of the software. But as long as you have internet access, maybe you can give yourself a Wi-Fi, a hotspot from your mobile phone, then you'll definitely still have access to your calculations if you are out at a customer. And then, okay, we've done the company logo. Let me just answer that. And then there are two more questions here. Are there any standard trailers added to the library? Can we import a drawing from AutoCAD or a step file for a 3D model? Okay, that is a good question. Tony, if you can maybe just show maybe add a tow bar or use a prime mover just to show the list of some standard trailers. Yep. And then that feature of importing a CAD file for a trailer is not yet available. So what Tony mentioned early on, that you can import a DXF for a body and an equipment item, any equipment item, and a payload item. But you cannot at this point import a DXF file for a trailer. But there is that request to, or ask us to add a trailer feature, and you can send us the drawing and we will add that for you. We'll put it into our format and add the trailer for you, and we'll offer you the option to either have it in your personal library only, or we can put it in the public library. So we understand that you may not want to share your trailer with everybody, so we can put it into your personal library. Tony's pointing to the DXF import on the body, but if you maybe just add a tow bar to that vehicle and just to look at trailer, you can just add any tow bar. You can take, just take a tow bar and then maybe select a semi-trailer.
This one here, Martin, will have to be
you can choose a pig trailer. You'll see there are a few pig trailers from manufacturers. This is the one that Tony's added to his personal library. If you remove that again, Tony, you should find there might be a few from a manufacturer specifically at the bottom there. You'll see that they are branded. So we can add them on request. And if the information is in the public domain, it makes it easier. But again, it helps us if you put us in touch with your contact at the trailer manufacturer, because we do need their approval if we're going to add a trailer for either you or for the public library. Okay, so that's standard trailers. We've got one more question here, and I think then we'll probably start wrapping up the session. Can you please show an example of adding multiple trailers to a prime mover to check overall length? Maybe for that, Tony, you can just do a very quick B double. Just choose a prime mover, add a fifth wheel. We currently only cater for the B double combination in terms of multiple trailers. We do not cater for A trains or road trains. So just 2 trailers. In the case of a rigid, it'll just be a rigid and a pig trailer, or a rigid and a dog trailer. And what Tony will do now is just maybe quickly put on a fifth wheel there and just put on a basic B double.
So, man, I quickly had a scenario here that just showed another trailer. So I'll quickly add one in. We've got some people here that do trailers and bodybuilding. If you've got your trailers, you can add them in like this. This is an example of others that have been put out to the public library. So that's an example there with a single trailer. And then we'll take that off, and then we'll go and pop a B double on. So you'll see the markings there, 1 and 2. So we'll go 1. And then what we'll do is we'll grab the first trailer here, so A trailer. We'll go and grab an example of one that's in here. So just slide that up. There we go. Lead trailer there. The tanker set. And then what we do is you go to the second trailer down there, B trailer. We go and grab the B trailer part of the set. And then you'll see the B double set up in there.
Yeah, you'll see the overall length at the top. So it's specifically relating to the overall length. And obviously we validate that overall length against the regulations for a B double. That can either be, say, 25 or 26 meters. This particular one doesn't get us quite to that limit, but all the specific dimension requirements to achieve, say, 26 meters are built into the regulations to do that validation for you. All right. If there aren't any more questions, what I'll do now, Tony, I think we can go back to the slides to wrap up the session. So that's it for the questions. Is there anything else, Tony, that you'd still like to point out?
No, I guess just when thinking of the software, having state-by-state rules. Obviously, we're one country, we have different rules and regulations around the place. Good part about the software is it allows for that, so no matter where you are. And then, yeah, it's quite easy to view the software and use it, and obviously the PDFs that get printed out are easy for both yourself and your customers. So, yeah, that's probably about the last bit I'll put in there, Martin.
Thanks, Tony. I'll go back to the slides now and just wrap up the session. Okay, so yeah, I know Tony covered quite a lot there in a short time. So if you'd like a personalized demo for yourself or colleagues who weren't able to attend today, then we're more than happy to do that for you. You can book a demo at the bottom of our homepage for a time that suits you. And then if you'd like to find out more about Truck Science, you'll find lots of videos and testimonials on our website at truckscience.com. Also, we will have a stand again at the Brisbane Truck Show this year. So hopefully we'll see you there. That's from 15 to 18 May. You'll find us on the upper level near the food court. And then if you're not already using our app, please help yourself to a free trial from the homepage of our website. You can also go to the pricing page to learn more about the different editions we offer. The professional edition starts at 800 Australian dollars per year for one user. Most of our dealers and bodybuilder customers choose this option. And then Tony, if you can run us through the Australia Day deal now.
Okay, so a part of Australia Day deal that we've got 15 months for the price of 12. So what would happen is it will give you access to the software now, and then your renewal wouldn't come through until 15 months from now. So that there would be April, May, somewhere around there, will be when you'll get your renewal next year. So yeah, 15 months for the price of 12 gives you a $240 saving on an annual subscription. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I've got to add to that, Martin. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Tony. I'm just looking across to see if there are any other questions. I don't see any there now. So what I'll do is I'll just go over to our last slide there. So yeah, thanks a lot, Tony, for those demos as well. Again, please feel free to schedule a personalized demo with Tony or even with me. But that's all for today then. I'll end this session in just a moment. But before you go, please rate the webinar and leave any comments or questions. Thank you for joining us, and goodbye, everyone.